It's Today's June 8th, 2024 here in Pacifica, California, MedakaMetal style. The temperature is pretty still cold out there, so I am indoors, 54 to about 62-ish. That is barely like 10 degrees Celsius to, I don't know, maybe we'll get up to like 17 degrees Celsius. But we're going to be talking about eggs, just the way I take eggs, collect eggs, and then take care of the eggs indoors. So let me take a real quick sip. The first sip of the beer, the first sip of the day is the one that the best beer of the day is the beer that I'm having with all you Medaka heads out there. So, real quick one. All right. It took a while to get the setup going, just because I don't know how to do this stuff, but we'll see. We will see how this goes. So eggs. You could do a natural style outdoors if you're in a warmer location. Here in Pacifica, California, they are laying eggs outdoors, but the eggs are dying just because it just gets too cold. And I have stuff set up outdoors just to monitor the fry action. There's none out there yet, so it's just too cold. So indoors, this is my system. So typically when I get home from work, I'll look at the mops in my aquariums indoors, and I'll look for the eggs. I'll grab the eggs from the mops and I scoop out water directly from the tank where the mop is from, and I basically pick them off and I just throw them in here. Okay. And then I leave this overnight. The reason is, regardless of what, let me even see if you could even see the eggs. I can't see the eggs. Zoom in, that's 2 times. Okay, those little things, dots, they're eggs. I collected these yesterday. So the reason why I leave these overnight is because of temperature fluctuations, right? Medaka is, you could keep them in various various locations, various climates, various pH, or and all that, but you don't want to suddenly remove Medakas from one temperature to another, hot or cold, especially when it gets colder. Same thing with eggs. They're alive. So you don't want to just pluck them out from a, let's say, an environment where they're in 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then all of a sudden throw them in water with a different temperature. So that is why after I collect the eggs from the mops, I throw them in the original water that they came from, and I leave them out overnight. Overnight in room temperature. Cool. Take another real quick sip. I know I'm doing a horrible job, but that's one of the most important things. Temperature fluctuation, they don't like that. So you want them to slowly, gradually adapt to the new temperature. So now that this container has been sitting out for 24 hours, I know that these eggs are ready for me to relocate into the environment that I want to put them into, which happens to be in here, water, that's room temperature. Cool. The process is, let me see. This is a process. Do you see the eggs? Yeah. So I dump the water out as much as I can. And I just want the eggs to remain in this little container. Now I have this paper towel. I'm going to try to make sure that I don't drop any of these eggs. I don't know if you could see, but let's see if this camera will capture it. All right, just making sure there's none left. Now, let me zoom in real quick. Do you see the eggs? Right there. So now, from here, I'm going to transfer the eggs into this water that I prepared. There's already some eggs in here. Basically, a week's worth I'll throw in one container. What does this container, or what is this blue water? So it's basically tap water with methylene blue, a drop of methylene blue. Methylene blue you could buy on Amazon for really cheap. If you buy a bottle of methylene blue, it's going to last you for pretty much the rest of your life. Trust me. You don't need too much of this stuff. Why do you put methylene blue to begin with? It's because it prevents the eggs from fungusing. That's what it does. It basically cleans it in a way where it doesn't get fungus and all that stuff. It doesn't clean it. It just gets rid of all the bad stuff. I don't know any scientific names and all that, but so this is what this is. It's tap water, methylene blue. Well, tap water isn't that dangerous for eggs. Tap water contains chlorine, and chlorine is basically something that disinfects. So it's actually aiding in the disinfection process where it is harder for the fungus to grow and all that stuff. At this stage, while the embryos are in the eggs, they're safe. It's the chlorine is not going to penetrate through the egg to kill the embryo and all that stuff. So it's actually good that you have chlorine in here. All right, going back to this. It's one of the most important processes. A lot of people are scared about crushing these. Don't worry about it. You're not going to crush them. If they smush, or if they get crushed, or if they pop, that means the eggs are not fertilized. And I'll try to illustrate like how hard I actually... I'm putting pressure on these, right? And the thing you want to do is you want to make sure a lot of these eggs are stuck together. You want to break them up in an individual eggs. The reason being, if you have a unfertilized egg stuck to a fertilized egg, and when the unfertilized egg starts to fungus, that fungus is going to take over and kill that viable egg. So it's very important that you isolate the eggs and you just kind of like roll them around. And one thing that you really, let me zoom in, hopefully it's focusing. One thing you really want to do is to try to actually pop them. The reason being, if they're easily poppable, they're not fertilized. See how hard, I don't know if you can see, but how hard I am rolling these. There's one on this finger too, but I'm rolling it and it's not popping. Right? It's still all good. That means these eggs are good to go. And once I confirm, I just toss them in here, like so. So a lot of people are scared. They're like, oh, I don't want to damage the eggs. I don't want to damage the eggs. You're not going to damage them. If they get damaged, they're not fertile eggs anyway, so don't worry about it. Just, you're doing this to clean the egg, to separate the eggs, the stuck eggs, and then you want to look how hard I'm pressing on these. I don't know if you could see, but like it's pretty hard. It's like a pebble almost. That one's good. So that's what you do. You're getting everything off of the eggs. You're making sure you're keeping them separated now, like offspring style. Now you're rolling them, making sure that they're not poppable. And then you're tossing it into the solution. Same thing, cleaning. And I can't tell you how important this process is, especially for breeds that are very expensive and you're trying to get as much eggs as possible. This is a step a lot of people skip. They basically collect the eggs and they dump them in, but once you have a bad egg, it's going to fungus up. Unfertilized egg will fungus up, and they'll spread. It's like a rotten apple, right? You get one rotten apple, and even the good apples go bad. So that is a quick demonstration of what I wanted to do today. This one, I just had a handful, which made it easier for me to do. Now they're in here. This is, when did I put this? June 4th, Black Cliff. So about, I'll do this, I'll use this container for about like, I don't know, maybe 10 days, And the other question that I forgot to even mention is after this, so how long does it take? Let me zoom in 4x to see. So they're all chilling in here. When they start getting white like that, that was probably, I probably threw that in there a couple of days ago. That means that egg is no good, okay? So it's very important to get rid of those eggs too. So when I do see eggs like that, I will siphon it out and just dump it in. It's reject. Another important process is to make sure that this is clean as possible. So when you see white eggs, it's not fertile. So you basically use this cheap siphon like this. This is going to become your best friend. Siphon out the egg and you just dump it out. You want to keep this clean as possible. What I do is every 2 days, I will change this water out. Basically, I'll just pour the water out, the blue water, put in some tap water, and then I'll put a drop of methylene blue. Remember, these eggs are alive. They need oxygen. They need airflow. So since I'm not giving them airflow, which you don't really need to give airflow, but if you keep on changing out the water, that's good enough. There's enough oxygen in that new water that you're going to throw in there. And there's going to be water movement when you're doing that. So, and it aids in sterilizing the eggs. All right. Take a real quick sip. This is getting way too long. It's longer than what I anticipated for this to be. But again, this is kind of like testing out if this mounting system worked and if the camera is like focusing on all this like close movement and all that stuff. Real quick sip. Oh boy. Another question. So how long does it take for an egg to hatch? One of the biggest questions. Easy math. 250. That's the main daddy number. 250. So let's say you have the eggs where the temperature is about 25 degrees Celsius. It's 250 divided by 25. That's 10. In 10 days, the newly hatched egg, or the new egg will hatch. 25 C is like 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you live or if you have the eggs located or placed in a place where it's 20 degrees Celsius, it's 250 divided by 20, which is 12.5 days. And in 12.5 days, the viable eggs will hatch. 20 is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the math. So if you live in an area where you're in the Fahrenheit, so just convert the Fahrenheit into centigrades and then divide it by 250. 250, if you're, again, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 68 is 20 degrees Celsius. 250 divided by 20 will give you 12.5 days. So that's how you do the math. And to the exact, they will come out of their eggs with their yolk sacs pretty damn close to that day. So hopefully I didn't forget blabbing about stuff, anything that I wanted to talk about today. I know, yeah, I think that was it. My second batch, just a little second batch of this Area Medaka, the food that I am importing from Japan is here. And what I've been told from people from over here that have purchased these, this one's for breeding, this one is for growth. They're really liking how they feel, the texture, how they're able to crush them into smaller pieces to provide to their smaller juveniles. So again, the second wave of these are in. So if you guys and gals, all you Medaka kids are out there are interested, just hit me up. Just DM me on Instagram, and at MedakaMetal is on Instagram, and I'll tell you how or how much and how it'll be shipped via USPS. So, どうもありがとう. We'll do it again. Enough of me. Hopefully, there was some information that was helpful. But again, water temperature key. Even if they're eggs, don't just pick up the eggs and throw them in another container that has different water temperature. It's very, very important. If you don't have methylene blue, don't worry about it. Again, tap water has chlorine. That'll aid in avoiding fungus from growing. All that. So, all right. So we'll do it again next time. Domo arigato. MedakaMetal on Instagram is where I live. So DM me over there, follow me over there, and hopefully we'll all have a good day today, enjoying our medakas with a nice brewski. All right, we'll do it again next time. MedakaMetal hats. Oh yeah.